This webinar is now being recorded, and it will be placed on our website as well as my NCSD, and all who registered will receive the recording as well. Next slide. Okay, so this is an outline of everything that we will be going over today. First, I will give a little background about what MyNCSD is, and then we will be going into a more in-depth and interactive overview of how to utilize the platform, and then we will get to the Q&A portion at the very end. However, please feel free to post your questions throughout the session. The chat will be monitored. Next slide. Okay, purpose of MyNCSD. So one of the main reasons that we launched this community is because our membership base is growing, which is really exciting. We're currently over 4,000 members strong, and the purpose of this learning community is to give you, our members, the chance to connect with the STD field by providing you with opportunities to network with your colleagues across the country, learn from your peers in similar roles, get answers to questions or challenges you may be facing, and really help facilitate that peer-to-peer learning. Now, if you've already had the chance to log into MyNCSD, you've probably noticed that aside from the general forum community, which everybody is a part of, and we will get more into later, you may have also seen that you have been added to either the DIS or Clinic Plus community based off of your membership status. And I do want to state that anybody can join the Clinic or DIS communities. It doesn't matter if you're in either one. If you're interested in taking part of those discussions, feel free to join them, and we will show you how to do that a little later on. Next slide. Okay, a little bit of logistics here. If you are still unsure about whether you are a member, if you're here, you're already in good shape, because that means you probably received word of this webinar either through our STD weekly newsletter or another email communication. So if you receive our emails, that means you are a member. So your information is already in MyNCSD, and now it's just a matter of getting you logged in there. So how you do that is by going to our website, ncsddc.org, and at the very top, you will see a menu of options, and you just have to click My NCSD Login. You'll see it's underlined in green there. Now, if you are unsure of your login information, that's totally fine. You can reset your password if you need to. And if you're still unsure about your membership status or having trouble logging in, you can reach out directly to me. Next slide. All right, now it's time to see a bit of MyNCSD in action, and I will pass it off to Catherine Hackney, who is our NCSD Community Management Consultant. Catherine.
Awesome, thank you, Aman. So now you should be seeing the homepage of MyNCSD. And this is the homepage before I've logged in. So you can kind of notice I'm not really seeing much content here because it is a private member-only online community. So either you can access MyNCSD, like Aman said, through NCSD's main website through that login, or if you come straight to my.ncsddc.org, you can sign in straight through here as well. It'll be the same credentials for your NCSD membership. So perfect. So for the home page, this is definitely kind of a summary of everything that's in the website that you can get access to, and we'll kind of walk through the navigation in just a moment. But as we're scrolling down, we have some quick links to accessing that general forum. Like Aman mentioned, all members have access to that immediately. You likely are already seeing Daily Digest emails from that discussion. If you are receiving that, that's perfect. You certainly can click through those and read further discussions and see what else is going on in the forum. But definitely do let us know if you have any issues with receiving your emails, or you don't think you're receiving the Daily Digest emails from the general forum yet, so that we can get that correctly set up for you. We also have more communities, as Aman mentioned, also like the DIS and Clinic Plus within MyNCSD, so we'll walk through those as well. But here's a quick way to access those. And we are walking through, how to utilize MyNCSD and the functionality today, and just more about what the new online community is all about. But if anytime you have questions or forget something and you need a refresher, the community how-tos are some quick videos, and there's FAQ pages as well that you can look at to get help, or feel free to reach out to either Aman or myself at any time. Scrolling down now, you can tell I am logged in. I know I'm logged in as myself because I've got my little avatar up at the top that I can check. It's my name, so I am logged in here. And that's why now I can see the recent discussions and additional content on this page. So this does, again, summarize the most recent posts that have been happening within our community, as well as shared files. So our online community in My NCSD is not just about discussions and posts, but it's also about sharing files, sharing resources, and using My NCSD as an archive for all of that you can come back to and find those resources, even further down the road. We do have toward the bottom of the homepage, we like to highlight our most active members so that we know and can congratulate, I want to say, those members who are participating the most within My NCSD. So if you start posting within the forums, you're likely to see your name in this list as well. And I'd love to see that and get to know a few more of you through that. The first time that you log into My NCSD, which is some of you may have already done, but if you haven't done it yet, you'll notice that you will land on the terms of use the very first time, and you do have to accept that to be able to participate in My NCSD. The terms of use really just outline the rules and guidelines of what's acceptable or not acceptable within the online community. Remember that My NCSD is not a social media platform. We really do want to keep this professional, respectful, and a safe space for everybody who is an NCSD member to feel comfortable participating. So staff like Aman and myself are keeping an eye on the conversations. We will moderate as necessary. If anything's questionable, we might be reaching out to you as well. But if you ever have any questions, you certainly can always refer to the terms of use linked within the footer of the website. Just kind of scrolling down through that. And again, it's under the About and Terms linked here. So as we start looking through, let me open up. Yeah, start looking through the My NCSD navigation, you'll notice after the homepage, we have communities. So you'll notice there's a list for all of the communities. So this is going to show you all communities that exist within My NCSD that you have access to join. And you'll see like a blue join button next to those communities that you are not yet in. If you'd like, Aman mentioned early on, based on the data that we have on you, if you are DIS, you'll automatically be added to the DIS community. Same with Clinic Plus, but they're not exclusive groups necessarily. So if you are an NCSD member and you're DIS, but you'd like to understand more about Clinic Plus, or maybe you have a transition coming, you can go ahead and join either of those communities, even if you weren't automatically pushed into them. My communities is very simple. It's what it sounds like. It's going to show you exactly what you are already a member of. And we can see some information of how many discussions have been happening, how many members are in there, the basic kind of detail or description about the community. And then you can click on its name to access that specific community that you're looking for. So once we open up and click into one of those communities, which you really can do from anywhere in the site, even like on the homepage where we're seeing the most recent discussions, it'll tell you the name of the community that the post was made in, and you can click on the name there to access the rest of the content specifically within that group. So that would be, again, just to be very clear, the general forum is a kind of a separate space than the Clinic Plus community, which is separate from the DIS community. So each specific community within My NCSD has a landing page that looks a lot like this. And we're going to notice there are tabs across the top that you can access all of the different types of content through. And again, we have the latest content up here that is specific now to the general forum, since that's the group that I'm in. And certainly you can click on any of the subject lines throughout to look specifically at that piece of content. But if you kind of want to get more of an overview or just skim through, we can click on the discussion tab. And we're going to see the subject lines of each of the posts that have been made. We do have tagging as well within the website to help just kind of group similar content together. So staff will be working on keeping that up to date. That'll just kind of help. You'll notice these are hyperlinked. So if you ever click on a tag, you'll immediately be sent to a page that'll give you all of the content that has that same tag on it as a real quick and easy way to find related items. So if we click into one of these discussions, then we can see the specific thread that is about recruitment strategies, right? So Becca posted this almost 2 weeks ago now. We can see Becca is the author of this post and her default signature that comes with any of her posts within the community. We'll look at that as well within the profile and go into some of more of those details in a bit. But you'll notice your options are over here on the right. So you're able to like content similar to things like LinkedIn or Facebook. You can like content to let the author know that you are interested also in what they're sharing, or to let staff know that something is an important topic that maybe we should focus in on a little bit more. As well as liking content is a little bit like bookmarking it. So we'll see where in your profile you can find the whole list of content that you have liked within the past. Also, the quick and easy way to add to this conversation and reply to the whole group so that all members of this community can see the conversation and benefit from the information or questions being asked. Just go ahead and click reply. You'll be saved right on the same page and can add in your response here. We do have some basic formatting options. Like I mentioned, this is multimedia, right? So it's not just about all text posting and answering questions and discussions. It's really helpful sometimes if you want to share files. You can insert images and videos and hyperlinks right into the body of your message, or you can also upload a file. You can upload a file directly to a discussion post this way. You can also upload files straight to the library itself. But any file that you add to the discussion is automatically going to be archived within the library of this specific community inside of MyNCSD as well. So that's how, content is archived. It's saved so that if you have a question, 6 months down the road, and you think maybe that was something that was discussed previously in MyNCSD, we'll look at the search as well, but you can always come in here and search and see if somebody's already shared a resource or answered your question within the discussions so that you can get, an immediate answer to help you in your job right away. Of course, if you are unable to find a response or a resource that perfectly fits your situation, your question, we welcome you to add a whole new discussion post within the community, right? So just add a new post within the forum and your fellow members will see that through their daily digests and be able to respond to you. As well as staff are keeping an eye on the conversation so that we can respond anywhere that we already have resources for you as well, as you can see here from Cassie. And you can tell each post within a thread does have its own reply. So if I was responding directly to Becca about her question and I wanted to add on after this, I would reply to her post. But if I had something specifically related to what Cassie has posted or something to add here, it's better that I click reply to her post, and that's the one that it'll really kind of nest under. You can sort of see, the posts are numbered and they kind of indent a little bit because Cassie specifically replied to Becca's post. So that's sort of how you can watch the flow of the conversation and understand the organization of like who's responding to which post within the conversation. I am currently logged in as myself, so I am an admin. I'm going to see quite a few more options than you might see. But one thing I love pointing out, and I think a lot of people miss, is this drop-down arrow next to the reply button. Again, I'm seeing a lot of options here you won't necessarily see, but the two you should have for sure is the reply privately option. So if for some reason I have a question or something to ask or share with Cassie, but I don't want to post it to the whole group so that all NCSD members are able to see that, I can reply privately to her. And we'll see again in our profile in a little bit where your private inbox is as well. So my NCSD allows for one-on-one conversations as well as one to the group conversations through these communities. The other option you'll have is the mark as inappropriate. So this is important for a few reasons. I pointed out the terms of use earlier. So we really do, again, want to keep this space respectful and safe for everybody to feel comfortable contributing in. And we welcome members to help us out with that, right? So my NCSD was built for members, and we really want it to be a space that you own and are able to utilize in the way that you see fits best of your needs. So if any posts are potentially offensive or maybe just include information that they shouldn't be including that's visible to all members, you have the ability to mark them as inappropriate. And I will immediately see a notification of that happening so that I can then make the final judgment call of if it does get approved or rejected to be within our community. So that's always safe to do, and everybody has access to that. Unfortunately, actually, the delete option, members are not able to delete posts that you've made, but you can edit posts that you've made yourself. So you can always come back and edit something if you want to remove a piece of content or adjust something you may have mistyped. You certainly can come back and always edit your own content. But if you really do want to fully pull down a post that even you yourself have made, mark as inappropriate is a really good way to do that, actually. If you click on mark as inappropriate, it'll ask you for a reason of why you're marking the content as inappropriate. And the best thing you can do is just say, hey, I authored this post and I actually want it removed from the conversation. And that makes it very easy for me to know that I should just reject that and get it deleted from the community for you. Perfect. So that's an individual thread. You'll notice we do also have the ability to follow content within my NCSD. So the way notifications work a little bit now before we even get into the notification settings, everybody is automatically set up to receive daily digest emails for the communities we've pushed you into. But you certainly can adjust what your email settings are. We'll look at that in the profile. But if you start a conversation or if you respond to a conversation or add a comment to any content, the system automatically believes that you care about the further conversation more than normal conversations, right? So if you've commented, you are actually going to be set to immediately start receiving real-time notifications so that you'll know as soon as something additional is shared within that conversation. But even if you want for specific conversations to be kept up to date on what's happening and the answers being shared there, and you don't necessarily have something to add to the conversation at this point in time, you can always manually follow a piece of content. So this can be anything in the library or anything in the discussions, so that you are going to receive immediate notifications of any additional comments or responses to that content. Additionally, right, because if you do comment on something and you start receiving immediate notifications of additional comments to that conversation, and you don't really want to receive those immediate notifications, you just come back into that thread and click that following option again to turn that off. And you'll just immediately go back to the daily digest only notifications. So if I go back to the discussions, you'll see this in a few different places, but I just want to point out really quickly the button of how you start a brand new thread or a brand new conversation within the community. Sorry about it moving a little bit slowly. It always seems to want to do that when I'm sharing my screen. So here we go. So anywhere you're seeing these green buttons, add or post new message, that's how you're going to start a unique conversation. And you can then set the thread subject and ask your question or share something interesting that you've learned recently that you think would be helpful to the membership, or share your successes as well within the group. That's always really interesting information that we like to share and celebrate together. So then again, within each community, they all have their own separate libraries as well. So, you know, again, when you're attaching any attachments to the discussion, and it really should be able to take any file type you have, they're automatically saved as well in the library, or you can come straight into the library and add an entry directly just to the library. So then as we scroll down, we can see, again, kind of a summary version of what we have in here. And we are using kind of a taxonomy or a folder structure here. So you can find specific information if you care about COVID and are looking, you know, for additional resources there. We've got 4 in here already that you can come in and click on anywhere within, you know, that row, and then you can see what these attachments are, who shared it. You can download them all right away. So do keep in mind, any of the files you share within the libraries can be downloaded by other members. So we just always want to be careful not to share sensitive information or anything that you wouldn't want downloaded and potentially shared outside of NCSD this way. You know, it is a private online community, but it's still the internet and anybody's able to take screenshots or copy and paste as well. So it's worthwhile just always keeping that in mind. And you can notice we do allow for comments on library entries. So if you have a specific comment or maybe a question about the attachments that are here, you can add a comment right to the library entry as well. And Emily, as the author of this entry, she'll receive a notification that there's a comment or a question in there so that she can respond to you if necessary. Or feel free to add comments, you know, if there's links to resources or other things that you're aware of that you want to just add on that are closely related to this library entry, you're welcome to do that as well. You will notice, and it's linked in a few different places. I mentioned on the home page, we do have some how-to videos that are very short, you know, 3 or 4 minutes long. You can see, watch the 3-minute video to learn more about searching the different types of content. And I give a little summary and some direct hyperlinks on how to make that, you know, a little more helpful, so you don't necessarily have to watch the whole video, but hopefully can still get what you're looking for. Perfect. So that is the library. And this is, you know, with any online community, we do allow members to see each other, right? So you are listed within the membership of each community, and you're able to send messages. So that's kind of like that private reply we saw earlier. You can send direct one-on-one messages to any member within the community, as well as adding members as contacts. Adding them as contacts is kind of like adding contacts on LinkedIn. You won't necessarily have your feed on the home page adjusted based on your contacts, but we're going to poke into the profile in just a moment, and we'll see that you can set your privacy settings specifically for like who your contacts are versus everybody who's a member, or versus, you know, just you. So it's locked down and more private. So that's really where, you know, it's helpful to add people as a contact that way. Also, it gives you easy and quick access to reach out to those people in the future as well. You'll have a contact list. That's just a quick and easy list of everybody you've added in your profile too. Of course, adding as a contact, the other person does have to accept your request, and you may start receiving requests from others that you will see notifications for, and you just click to accept that, and you're good to go. Perfect. And just a quick note, we do have a quick link to the general forum under the communities navigation as well, just so you can get into the general forum discussions quick and easy. And kind of to continue on that piece of members within the community and adding contacts or sending messages, we do have a member directory. So remember, just members of NCSD are in here, but that includes, not just full members, but all members of NCSD. So you are able to come in here and search. You can even find potentially someone, if you're not really sure of their spelling of their name, you can do partial searches and it'll still pull up everybody who matches whatever you've typed in. So I've found myself in here. So because it's my own profile, I don't actually see those buttons for sending a message or adding as a contact, but you will see designated throughout the community as well who NCSD staff are. We do also have community ambassadors. You'll notice some of those are just regular members as well, but they'll have an ambassador ribbon underneath their name. And there are specific members who have said that they're interested in being, highly engaged within MyNCSD, and they're helping us to keep the conversations going and helping to answer questions. We're always open to more ambassador volunteers. So if that's something you think you might be interested in, please again, reach out to Aman or myself and we'll get you started in that. If I go back to my search options too, you're going to see the ability to have use the advanced search. So maybe you're not necessarily looking for a specific individual, but you're looking for people in your area, or you're looking specifically for other DIS or Clinic Plus members. You can come in here and use any or all of these filters to find specific members who meet that criteria. So then I can see a list of DIS members, and you can see that I can reach out to any of those members as well. And just a quick note, you'll notice it here, the help and FAQs I mentioned, we do have FAQs here. So this is the written out version. You can click on any of the questions and get answers to how to do something within MyNCSD. We also have that quick link to those how-to videos I've pointed out, and a quick contact us if you have any questions. Actually, next, let's look at the search really quick, and then I'll move into the profile settings. Like I mentioned, there are tags throughout the content, the discussion posts and library entries within the community that you can click on and find related content. And that's going to give you content for all of the different groups or communities that you do have access to. So it's not like it's going to limit you just to the content within that single group you clicked it. You're going to get anything throughout all of MyNCSD. So you're really finding all of the related content that might be able to help you out immediately. The other way to do this is to just search any old keywords in the search bar up here, which will follow you throughout the header of the website. Again, just searching COVID, because I know we have COVID resources in here right now. You can see that I have the option to see the most recent or the least recent stuff that was posted originally, early on, or based on relevance. I'm always going to see, the title of the content, and that's what I can click to access it. I'm always going to see the author of that post, and then you can tell we get this little pop-up window that again makes it really easy for me to add the person as a contact. Jenny is already my contact, so that's what I see here, or I can send her a direct message. Just kind of interesting, I think. It gives you a little more context, so you can see, okay, who is this person? What is their job title? Where do they work? So you understand a little bit more of that context of what they're sharing. I do think it's helpful as well just to keep an eye out for the timestamps so that you know when something was shared. Certain things are definitely more timely, I think, so that's helpful if you want the most recent item specifically, versus some is evergreen as well, right? But it's kind of good just to take note of when something was shared. So sort of similar to Amazon or other search websites like that. You just get your basic results down the middle, but on the left-hand side, we do have filters that we can refine our search by. So you can search within specific forums or communities if that's what you want. If that's what you're looking for, something was shared in DIS and that's specifically what you're looking for, you can check that box to narrow down your search results. As well as, we talked about those tags. These are the tags that are clickable throughout the site too. So you'll see the list of those here. So potentially you can even click several of these or multiple, so that if you're looking for something even more specific and it has to do with technology and training, you really care about both of those, you want to find content with both of those tags, certainly check on as many boxes as is helpful for you. You also certainly can do ranges of how old content is down here kind of toward the bottom. So check that out again for those resources that it is more specific about when it was posted. You need the most up-to-date content. You can see one item was shared in the last week about COVID, 4 in the last 2 weeks, and going back from there. And you will see, as you can tell here, those tags that are throughout. So then if I click on testing and diagnostics, you'll see, right, we're just given, again, a search results page with the content that has that tag on it as well. So that's search. I do think this is really powerful. It's always, if you have a question or an issue at work and you need some help, I think searching MyNCSD should be your first stop, especially as the community matures and has been around a little bit longer. As more and more questions are asked and answered and more resources are shared, this will become a really robust resource for all of you. So again, I can click just on my profile picture or the avatar that you'll see up at the top to get into my profile. From your profile, you're definitely going to see more complete information than necessarily other members see about you. So it's kind of nice to go through the directory and click into other member profiles and see, what information is actually visible to you on their profiles. And then you can tell, how you want to fill out your information as well. Everybody has the ability to add a bio, and that can be whatever content you'd like to share with the community. We do also have some basic demographics that were filled out when you became a member. So this is data that's saved within our database. So definitely do take a peek and make sure that all of this content is also correct. If anything is not correct for you, this pencil icon right next to the contact details is going to be the best way that you can update, most of these demographic details about yourself, including, your job title and organization and contact information. Any ribbons that you earn, maybe if you do volunteer as an ambassador, you'll see them here, as will other members will also be able to see all of your ribbons. We are going to be pushing out, like DIS ribbons, Clinic Plus. So it just makes it a lot more easy for you to identify other members. And again, just put their contributions into context. We do want to facilitate members connecting with other members. So you certainly are welcome to add links to as many of your own websites or social media accounts as you would like. These are visible to other members, so just keep that in mind. I personally love adding LinkedIn and maybe Twitter in here, just so you can connect with other members even outside of MyNCSD. Similar to the communities, we see these tabs across the top here. So as I go through the tabs, we're going to see my connections. This is where I can find a list of my contacts, those people that I've sent requests to and they've accepted, or vice versa. We do also have this handy little tool here that gives us people you may know, based on your organization, based on your location and your other demographics that we have about you. It's always going to suggest 3 people, so you can just really quickly and easily request them as a contact. And then since that contact request went through, Talia disappeared from this list, and now I have a new person that I could potentially add. But as we scroll down, we're going to see my existing list of contacts and just see a real quick and easy way, again, that I can send messages to them. I know who's an ambassador volunteer. I know who staff is based on those ribbons again. So really helpful information in here. And definitely, feel free to go through and start sending contact requests now. I think that's a great way to reach out to other members and get to know one another as well. And then I just want to point out in here specifically, under my connections, you have that following item as well. So, we're back on the discussions, you're able to follow or unfollow content. anything that you're actively following is going to fall on this page so that you can come in and easily find it. And maybe if you want to unfollow it, then you want to click back into that and change that follow toggle. Oh, so for me, I'll explain this too. I'm actually not seeing the following toggle here, specifically because I'm actually set up to real-time digest notifications. So if you're already have your settings to real-time notifications, which are immediate email notifications about the discussion, you're not going to see the following option because it's duplicative. But I know that this piece of content is listed in my following content because I started the conversation. So again, anything that I start or contribute on, you're automatically following. And then we're going to go into my contributions. Some of this information is visible to other members. So again, I think it's really helpful to search another member and kind of look through their profile so that you can understand what information is visible on someone else's profile so that you know what in your profile is visible. So we do have, I think this is only visible to you yourself, but there's a summary of contributions that you've done in here. I kind of like the pie graph. It breaks down what you've done. So personally, I have added 14 posts to the discussions, 8 library entries, and I've recommended 9 pieces of content. Recommending and liking is the same thing within this platform. What I do like here is if I click on that piece of the pie, like I mentioned back in the discussion, liking something or recommending something is kind of like bookmarking it, so that when I click on the piece of pie that I've recommended, I can see the actual content of what that is, what I have liked in the past, so I can easily access that again. There is my achievements. This is kind of related to these ribbons that are in here. We're continuing to build that out, so we don't have too much at this point, but like if you're a community ambassador, your ribbon would also be visible here as well. And then we have your full list of contributions. So this is going to be everything that you have posted and potentially saved draft content, right? So if you were drafting a post or a reply, it does auto save within the system so that you can always come back later, or in case you lose access to internet or something like that, your computer crashes, what you were typing has been saved. So you can always come back into your contributions, your list of contributions, and see things that were auto saved or draft in here. We do have a filter to make it really easy to find that as well. You can just quickly filter down to just your draft items too. And then you can click into that and finish editing it and post it to the community. So now I think the most important piece, best for last, of course, under your account, we have a lot of important pieces that you'll really want to understand. So first we have our privacy settings. And like I mentioned, this is kind of where as well who your contacts are comes into play, because you're able to change different pieces of your profile and what's visible to who through this page. So like my picture is visible to all members of NCSD. So that's what I'm seeing there. My address line, like that is very specifically just going to be visible to my contacts. Because I'm logged in and I'm looking at my own profile, again, of course, I can see all of my information, but this privacy settings page is going to explain what other people can see about me. And, you know, if I wanted to change that, I have the options of just your contacts, members only. So that's going to be everybody who can log in to my NCSD. Public, which, I mean, it gets a little interesting here. There are just a very few pages that can be accessed by people who are not logged in. So like if you wanted to make your profile picture public, you sure could do that. And if somebody landed on like the My NCSD homepage and they don't log in or they haven't logged in yet, but you've like recently posted something to the discussion, or really you're one of our more active members at the bottom of the homepage, that's what's visible when you're logged out. Then your picture would show there even before they log into the website. So that's definitely up to you. The defaults, We don't have anything set to public right now. So that is, your choice if you want to do that. And then of course, only me is the last option, which locks it down to be the most private. So only you are going to see that information on your own profile. Of course, you can't necessarily hide content from NCSD staff, so we will always be able to see it, but no other members will be able to see that about you on your profile. And this page does get pretty granular, but you'll definitely want to scroll down to the bottom and click to save any changes that you make. I'm going to skip a few things here because I do think the community notifications is the most important piece that we do want to focus on a little bit. So I can see my community notifications are sending to my email of my membership with NCSD, which again, I can see over here and just check that, yep, it's going to the right email address. We do actually have the ability to set override email addresses per discussion or per group within my NCSD. Like if your membership is with your work email address, but you prefer to get your my NCSD emails at your personal email address, you certainly could set an override in here to do that. And if I scroll down, we'll see all of the communities that I'm a member of, and then we'll see my email notification options. And I was playing with this earlier, so some of them are set to no email, but usually I'm set to real time for all of my groups. Personally, right, because I'm moderating, I'm keeping an eye on everything that's happening. I do like to be on real-time emails. Some members also appreciate real-time notifications. So that is going to be an immediate email to your inbox, to the email address that is part of your membership, every time a post is made to that discussion. That can be really helpful if you are like DIS or Clinic Plus and definitely want to be kept up to date on the conversations happening and the resources being shared in that community. But like I mentioned before, Daily Digest is the default for everybody. So it's just one email per group. Whenever there are discussion posts, of course, there won't be any email sent if there haven't been any posts within the last day. We do have a no email option if you want to unsubscribe from notifications, but you would still be a member of the community so that you can still access it through the website and post and read, part of the discussions that way. The other option, the final option here, if you don't want to fully unsubscribe, and I do not recommend fully unsubscribing, of course, but you're looking to have fewer emails in your inbox, we do offer a consolidated weekly digest. So this actually will send you one email per week for all of the groups that you check the box for. So instead of receiving a Clinic Plus daily digest and a DIS and a general forum daily digest each day, so that's 3 emails. If I check all of these boxes, I'll actually receive one email per week that summarizes the content posted in all 3 of these groups. So it's definitely a way to cut down emails, but to still see what's going on in my NCSD. And I'm actually going to put myself on real time again right now. And this page, kind of funny compared to the other one where the privacy settings, you do have to save them. On this page, your changes automatically save. So there's no save button here you have to worry about. If you do choose that daily digest option, you can also select which day of the week your weekly digest is sent to you on. And then last in this area under my account is that default signature. So nothing in my NCSD is anonymous. Everything is posted under your own name. Again, that's for accountability, to keep everybody within a professional and respectful tone. So you're owning your own words within this community, but you are welcome to customize your signature and use either the default variables we have over here. So it's pulling in the content that we have within our database for your membership. You can see I've done that for my first and last name here. And I can just leave the variables in. I don't need to fill out like my last name within the brackets. It's just automatically going to do that for me because I use the variables over here. But if I want to override something that is in the database or use acronyms or even add more information into my signature that's not necessarily part of these variables, you're also welcome to type in anything within this field. And then you can save that. And anytime you're posting to the discussions within your communities, your default signature is going to be assigned to the bottom of all of your posts. And then the is your inbox, right? So we've seen the send message or reply privately ability throughout my NCSD in a few different areas. And your inbox here is going to be the place that houses any of your private messages. So you can come in and find these at any point in time. Also, good to note, if you do receive a direct message, a private message through my NCSD, you're going to get a notification as well straight to your membership email address. So you don't necessarily have to come in and log into my NCSD to know something's waiting in your inbox, but you'll see that notification. So you know you can click through and read that. You also can compose a new private message from here to anybody who's already your contact. You can find your sent messages in here, as well as pending contact requests. So that is it within my NCSD. I think I've gone through all the pieces now. And we'll go back to our slideshow and I'll let Aman pop back on and see if there were any questions.
Hey, great. Thank you, Catherine, so much for going over that with us. No questions have come through so far. Again, reminder, if you have any, you can unmute yourself and ask a question. Feel free to type it in the chat box. But to get us started, I do have a clarification question for you regarding what is visible to members versus non-members and people who are logged in. So for people who aren't necessarily part of the community, can folks who aren't members, find the homepage and check out the community without logging in, and what sort of information can they see?
Yeah, right. That's a good clarification question. I think it is really important that everybody understands that any of the posts within the discussions and any of the library entries shared are all private, so that you have to log in as a member of NCSD to be able to access that content. So like at the very beginning, I was showing the homepage before I signed in, and we actually were not seeing the latest discussions or shared files. You were just kind of seeing links to communities and things like that, like quick links to the help and how to. And even if you started clicking through that, it would take you to the login page, right? So really almost everything within my NCSD is locked down. It's not being found on like Google or Bing or other search engines are not able to crawl the full site. They will find, my NCSD's homepage, but again, it's just going to kind of say that message of, if you're a member, you have to log in to access the content. But, that does come with that caveat of anything that's shared on the internet, even behind, a member login, still can potentially be shared or copy and pasted by others. So, that's always a good rule of thumb when you're doing anything online, to be cognizant of that. And notice that your posts are being made under your own name. The other piece of that too is, like I mentioned on the profile settings, your privacy settings, you can set certain things to public, and that would make some of those details visible to potentially search engines, or to, if somebody's not logged in and has, the URL to your profile, or can see you on the homepage as a most active member and clicks to your profile. That's going to make those details public if you choose only to do so. But by default, everything is private, so that you have to log in as a member to see it.
Wonderful. Thanks, Catherine. And I'm not seeing any questions from anybody, which I think is a testament to your very thorough overview, Catherine. So we might be able to let everybody out a little early if that's the case. And with that, I will just thank you all again for joining us. And please, again, feel free to reach out to Catherine or myself with any questions you may have. We're here to provide assistance, and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.